It's time to get lost in the Midcard. This Bleav in Pro Wrestling property is brought to you by Bet Online, the continued #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Join now and receive your 100% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use our promo code Bleav. Now, here are Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where it is very interesting to picture MJF as a babyface, and it may be closer than we think. It is Lost in the Midcard. Welcome to this October 24th edition. Oh my God, we are almost the end of October. Can you believe it? I am your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JB Huskers, and as always, my co-host is on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how's it going?
It's going, man. It's another Monday. Gearing up for another episode of Monday Night Raw. We'll see how it goes. Not much announced tonight. It's very un-Triple H-like.
The preview has
normally
two
they
things.
Normally they announce quite a bit ahead of time. No, tonight we've got 2 matches. I'm like, okay.
Turn on my sparkly lights. Yeah, maybe not. It may not be plugged in. I don't know.
It's time to get lost in the Midcard.
You know what?
I forgot about the loop.
It keeps resetting. I don't know why the fuck it keeps resetting.
Oh, there goes the swear right 2 minutes into the show. Thanks, JB.
Well, you know, I don't know why the loop thing keeps resetting. Unless the other boys on this channel have it on loop. I don't know. It's hard telling. But
check it before you launch it next week.
Well, I know now. I unchecked it last week for Christ's sake. Anyways, Mark Show in there. It's Monday. You know what that means? Yes, that means Lost the Midcard. I'm not going to watch Raw live tonight. I'm going to be watching Monday Night Football. I might be joining, depending on what's going on, I might be joining True Heel Heat as well for their watch along. So I'm going to catch Raw either later tonight or tomorrow. But apparently, I mean, there's nothing announced. There's 2 things announced. We'll get into those 2 things at the end of the show.
2 things that are announced are pretty big matches.
They are. We'll get into that at the end of the show, and usually by the end of the show, we will have the rundown from Sean Ross Sapp as well on Fightful Select. So we will give you kind of the non-spoiler-ish edition of that at the end of the show as well. Quite an eventful week in pro wrestling. Some good shows. We had a premium live event. I guess you could call it that. I don't know. We haven't called it a takeover yet, but hopefully that's coming next year. But Halloween Havoc was this Saturday on the old Peacock on the cock. And we had some pretty good matches. I thought it was a pretty good show. Matt's going to have a differing opinion on it. But I thought overall it was a pretty good show. Obviously not at the level of a takeover, but I mean, nothing really has been over the past year plus. Some of that's the talent that, you know, obviously is now on the main roster. Some of it is, difference in creative, but overall, I thought Halloween Havoc, outside of the women's title match, which was really short and had your usual interference, and I figured a title change was going to happen there. Outside of that, I thought it was a good show. I didn't think there was any bad matches. I thought, the lower rated matches would have been the 2 women's matches, but they were pretty good. Especially Roxanne and Cora, I thought was pretty good. I thought it was a step up above an NXT show for a match. I thought the ambulance match between Julius Creed and Damon Kemp was phenomenal. I liked that. I liked that one a lot. Main event was a very entertaining triple threat. Obviously, I think the stealer of the show was the open with the ladder match, and that was probably going to be expected because an NXT North American ladder match equals great shit. So I thought that was the match of the night. But overall, I thought it was a good show. Not a 9 out of 10 like you get your takeovers, but I thought it was a solid 7.5 type show. Matt, what were your thoughts on Saturday night?
Heading into Halloween Havoc, Shawn Michaels went on record as basically saying that the new NXT was pretty much a hybrid of black and gold with 2.0.
I did not see that.
And that was the problem with Halloween Havoc. Because if Halloween Havoc would have just stuck to the takeover formula from Black and Gold and did match after match after match after match and cut out all the unnecessary bullshit.
Yeah.
I actually think the show overall probably would have been pretty good.
Don't mind me.
But instead, we ended up having a whole ton of NXT 2.0 bullshit littered in throughout the show that absolutely took down my overall enjoyment. The haunted house was awful.
I thought it was well done.
Awful. And logically, it makes no sense whatsoever. If you're Mandy Rose in Toxic Attraction and you have Alba Fire telling you that she's going to be at some stupid haunted house in Orlando and you have a title match with her later that night, instead of going to get her, here's an idea. Go to the ring, make the referee count 10, count Alba Fire out, and retain your fucking title.
That was...
Why did it... Going to that... Nothing about that logically made sense whatsoever. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And then you had all the awful segments in between. The Andre Chase segment wasn't necessary. The Pretty Deadly segment wasn't necessary. The Shotzi Quincy Lash Legend segment wasn't necessary. Like all this stuff that they littered in between the matches to NXT 2.0ify this show is what brought this show down. Like if you would have just done the matches, because the only match you could, I think the only match you could even argue is saying it wasn't a great match was probably Apollo and Grayson Waller, but I think every other match on this show was good to great.
Yeah, I thought that was a good match too. I thought
the event was great.
Yeah.
The ambulance match was a lot of fun. Cora and Roxanne was a really good match. I hope Roxanne never wears that gear again, but that's a different story for another time. There were really no matches that you could surely complain about. There was the hokiness in the casket match, but it wasn't the worst. Like the matches itself, I thought like the best thing about 2.0 when you pulled away from it, when you went to the premium live events, you could say, well, at least we're gonna get the wrestling. And they never littered in this bullshit in between the matches, and they did that on this show, and I hated it. Get rid of that shit when it comes to premium live events. If we want to see that garbage, we'll tune in on Tuesday nights. If you're doing a premium live event, make it about the product, the wrestling in the ring. I don't need any of that other crap in between.
Yeah,
that's what you can put on Tuesday nights. Don't put it on your pay-per-views.
The Andre Chase thing, I thought could have been done on Tuesday all in full. Although I liked it. I liked the history of Halloween Havoc type of deal. I thought that was a good thing to do, but yeah, you could have kept that on Tuesday. I thought Quincy and Shotzi did a good job. I had no complaints about that. It just wasn't
necessary. It was a time filler for an event that didn't need to fill time.
No, because it
was a waste of being there.
It could have went 2.5 hours instead of close to 3. It was a hair under 3. And
remember, back in the day, most takeovers were like 2 to 2.5 hours tops.
Yeah. Ask us anything in the chat. Make sure you sound off as we are live on the YouTube.
Oh, we're live. We're firing rounds.
Yeah,
sorry,
true.
Sean.
We're Sean's gonna block Matt here by the end of the show.
Again?
Again. Yeah.
You can't block me twice.
He might unblock you just to block you again.
Well, that's
post
fine.
your thoughts in the chat about anything. Ask us any questions. Also, your thoughts about Halloween Havoc. Marcel, greetings from the Netherlands. Thank you for joining us, Marcel.
My friend.
Yes, of course. Our regular Steven Elimination Chambers. Speaking of Elimination Chambers, that's going to be a story we got coming up later. The pre-tape was trash, according to Mark.
Kill it with Alba Fire.
I thought it was a fun segment.
It was so bad.
Gigi looked like she was having fun.
It was the definition of everything I hate about NXT 2.0.
Steven saying solid show. Would have been perfect if Theory cashed in. That was we'll get to that in a minute.
I would not have hated that just because it keeps Theory off of Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's why I was in favor of that happening. I was like, if Theory cashes in, at least he's relegated back to NXT, and I don't have to deal with him on Monday nights anymore. So, yeah, I kind of wish he would have cashed in, too.
Surprised Mandy retained. I did as well. I figured Alba Fire would be. Now I think it's going to be Roxanne Perez.
I agree with you, but my question is, how can Triple H not be going to Shawn and be like, all right, dude, enough's enough. I want I want Toxic Attraction on the main roster.
My only thought is they want to get Mandy to 1 year, and she's pretty damn close at this point.
That's true.
So.
She's very close. She might only be days away at this point.
So Deadline could be past a year.
That's fair. That's fair. If they're trying to get the 1 year title reign, that's fine. But I feel like Toxic Attraction's an act that SmackDown could desperately use right now.
I tell you what. A year. Wednesday is a year.
This Wednesday.
Yep. Because she won it at Halloween Havoc.
That's right. You're right.
She beat Raquel Gonzalez.
Okay, so then technically you don't even have to wait till Deadline if you don't want to. You could do it on one of their Tuesday nights quote unquote specials.
Yeah, WWE doesn't have a pay-per-view until Royal Rumble, which is so
I don't
weird.
believe that. They're gonna have to do a show in December or early January. They're not doing Survivor Series and then taking 2 months off till the Rumble. There's no freaking way.
And as my guess, Antoine on there, we just talked about who's taking the title off of Braun and Mandy. Mandy, we just said Roxanne Perez. Braun, that's a crapshoot right now. My guess is Carmelo Hayes.
I think Carmelo Hayes is being brought up to the main roster. I think he's going to be Hit Row's tag partner on Friday night.
That could be too. That would be great. A great addition. I said it on the show last week. They need a singles guy to even up the numbers, and they teased that.
But Hayes had some issues with Delgado, didn't he, back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he makes perfect sense for Hit Row to bring him in to even the odds, so to speak.
And who said it on Lost to the Midcard last week that the host should be Shotzi? Bam, there you got it. You get that type of stuff here on Lost to the Midcard. We give you the goods, man. We give you the goods. Monet here. I very much enjoyed the show. Really wanted to what was the point of the end of Tuesday?
Yeah, they didn't even have him on the show, not teased or anything.
It kind of blurred the lines to me because I was obviously I work on Tuesday nights, so I don't watch NXT live anymore, and I didn't even get a chance to watch it until all right, I'll watch it right before Halloween Havoc, and then it all ties in together, and so kind of tied together. Oh yeah, I forgot Theory was at the end of Tuesday, not Saturday, and it's never happened. Cash in on NXT. That would have been. Well, I guess did Charlotte? No, Charlotte chose NXT after winning the Rumble.
The Rumble. Yeah.
Charlotte's never. Wait a second. Charlotte won the Rumble.
Yeah, and chose to face Rhea Ripley.
I don't know why I thought that Charlotte had never won the Women's Royal Rumble at one point, but yeah, I don't know. So that was kind of baffling. I think that was still just a pop a rating, which didn't help. All the main roster help.
But who the fuck thinks Theory's going to pop a rating anywhere?
Oh, I meant with main roster, just all the main roster included.
Yeah, but I mean, Theory wasn't even advertised.
No.
So I mean, that doesn't make any logical sense at all.
Neither was Shinsuke. So
yeah, I mean, I don't get why you don't advertise in Shinsuke. That's just
where's he been? Has he been hurt?
I don't know if he just requested time off or if he's been hurt or what. They haven't really specified. But I mean, I love anytime Shinsuke is on my TV.
Mm-hmm.
If we're gonna get him more in NXT,
why not
for a month or two? That'll give me a reason to watch the show.
I mean, that was where
maybe Nakamura can beat Braun.
That's where I saw the greatest match of all time that I'm ever going to see in person. Shinsuke and Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Dallas. I don't know if I'm ever going to see a better.
We were both in the venue for that one.
I don't know if I'm ever going to see a better match in person in my life. I don't know if I am. Let's see. Mark Cho just repeating what we said there, that this Wednesday's a year. Have her lose this week and screw her 1 day short. Wouldn't that be something?
That's terrible.
Steven,
she should have just lost it at Havoc then.
Steven in the chat, I Bleav NXT having a pay-per-view the same day as ROH afternoon and NXT in the evening. That's correct. 10th. We're talking WWE pay-per-views because there is none.
Yeah, like Raw SmackDown brand. I didn't mean NXT.
Theory pops a rating.
No, he does not. Shut up.
And Mark Cho. He pops
Why you don't?
Pops a rating with Mark Cho too.
Oh, Jesus. Doesn't pop a rating with anybody.
So going back to Halloween Havoc again, ask us anything in the chat. We would love to take a detour because our show is all about detours. If you've ever listened to us in the past 8 years, the past 8 years, there are definitely detours on this show. So, the match started, the pay-per-view started off with the ladder match again. Tremendous. I think a lot of people on the internets thought Nathan Frazier kind of stole the show of that. I thought he did great. Obviously, Carmelo great. Jan Wagner about killed a fan in the front row with a ladder.
Let's face it, everybody's just happy he didn't win.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. Everybody's just happy Wagner didn't win.
My buddy John Canton.
I called Wesley on here last week.
Yeah, I did too.
So
yeah, my buddy John Canton said he thought Vaughn was going to win because just his size, he's bigger than everybody else. Thank God that didn't happen. But tremendous showing. Obviously, the match of the evening went about 20 minutes there. Very good. Then we got the haunted house thing there, which I kind of liked. But the old splitting up. Geez, you guys are so stupid. The casket match. Hey, you to win. You gotta put him in the casket and close the door. So throwing him through the casket does not count. Jesus, people. Anyways.
Like I said, that was the only match that was kind of hokey. I thought, I thought every other match on the show delivered.
I'm not sure what is with Apollo Crews and Druids right now, but maybe he's the higher power behind the diet, the dyad or whatever you call him.
That's it's definitely a girl.
Oh, it's Isla Dawn.
Unless they change it between now and Tuesday.
It's Dawn. It's Dawn from UK is my guess.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, I was joking. Just because.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, they could obviously change it on Tuesday and make it anybody in the thing they want. But in the weeks leading up to this, that's definitely a woman under that hood and mask.
Yeah, the Chase U thing. I think Duke Hudson only joins Chase U to get a date with Thea Hale. That's my guess. I don't get that's kind of a weird, just random thing. Next up here on Halloween Havoc, we get the Weapons Wild match between Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. They really didn't go wild on weapons though, did they?
It was just a regular hardcore match.
Yeah.
I don't know what Weapons Wild is, but you never need to use that term again because it wasn't wild and it was just your typical hardcore match.
Roxanne coming out to the ring with a trash can gave me those Raven vibes that they were going to go for the WWF championship or something. But anyways, let's go back to the chats here. Raw may have a New Year's special. They might. Yeah. I mean, we said it on the show last week, no day one. So,
which sucks. I enjoyed day one as a concept last year. So
yeah,
I'm disappointed that it's not coming back this year.
Monet, I love how Melo's Achilles heel is a ladder match. It's kind of true. He just can't seem to win the ladder match. Jan Wagner. Let me correct you, Steven. It's Jan Yawn. I came up with that name too, by the way. He looks like the guy. He does kind of look like the guy. And
but with 10 times less charisma.
Yeah. I told Matt he's starting to show a little more charisma, but that still is less than half an ounce. Send Theory to chase you. Yeah,
that's fine.
Both of them at the same time fell on the table. Oh yeah,
that spot wasn't great. It wasn't great. It didn't look good.
It was weird. It was a little weird, but Roxanne Perez hitting the pop rocks onto the chairs was a nice ending.
Good.
Yeah, that was a nice good. Roxanne Perez gets the win there, and as Matt and I both said, they get to Roxanne's probably going to go for Mandy Rose here eventually.
That makes sense.
A little tease, a little mask in the fire, and it has been not unofficially confirmed by the dirt sheets that Dominic Dijakovic is coming back to NXT as his old gimmick. The word on the dirt sheets.
Maybe he'll be Braun Breaker.
Maybe. The word on the dirt sheets is he is now on the internal NXT roster as Dominic Dijakovic. So that was kind of cool to see. Everybody caught on to that right away of that mask. So
yep. They should just call him Dijak.
Yeah.
It'd be so much easier. Just call him Dijak, please.
It's a lot of syllables.
Yeah.
For all the names we get mad at shortening, this one is not one we get mad at.
Well, they extended his name.
Yeah.
He came in as Donovan Dijak.
Yeah.
And then he's like Donovan Dijakovic. I'm like, come on. Why you got to extend the freaking name?
Yeah, when Vince does it completely the opposite. But I mean, isn't Donovan Dijak his real name? Oh no, it's Chris Dijak.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's his real name. They could trademark Donovan Dijak, but well, they called him Dominic. So, but and there's already
Dominic Dijak. I mean, or just died. Like I said, or just Dijak. I mean, it's just Dijakovic just seems way too convoluted for no reason.
Yeah, I agree. Ambulance match, Julius Creed, Damon Kemp. I thought this was really well done. Wasn't sure how Kemp would fare on the NXT takeover-ish like stage. But I thought this was a match that exceeded my expectations. And I've said it for a long time. I think Julius Creed's going to be a major star in WWE down the line. But I thought this was a lot of great near falls, like the crutch blocking the doorway, the hand, using your hand to block the doorway. That can't feel good. I thought it was overall a good match there, Matt.
The only thing about the match that sucked is we didn't get Roderick Strong in the ambulance.
No, I thought,
I was very disappointed, and I thought that was a slam dunk home run.
Yeah.
And they chose not to use it, so I don't know. I would have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was a given that Roddy was going to show up, but anyways, then we got the NXT Women's Championship, a very short and ref bumps and everything that we don't like about NXT. Mandy Rose retaining there, and the main event was damn good. I thought a lot of great near falls. Everybody had a great shine in the match. I like the near fall where JD puts his hand under the ref's hand to prevent the 3 count, things like that. And I just thought it was an overall good match. I'm just ready for Braun to lose the title, man.
Yeah, I honestly, I think this reign's doing him more harm than good right now. It hasn't been like I feel like it's stalled out with the Joe Gacy feud, and there's been he's having good matches, but there's no character building to Braun Breaker right now. He needs a new storyline to latch onto that will help him connect to the crowd again, and I'm just not seeing it. I don't think he should have pinned Dragunov. I think he should have pinned JD. Like, you could have had Dragunov as a singles challenger down the line. I thought the Raw man got pinned. But other than that, the match was great. Like, he's not having bad matches.
No.
But there's a lot of wrestlers out there going to have great matches and have no connection with the crowd whatsoever. And I fear that that's what's happening with Braun Breaker right now.
Segueing from Halloween Havoc into some Shawn Michaels news. Shawn Michaels recently did an interview, and it was actually the media call for Halloween Havoc here, and was asked a couple of interesting questions. And one of them was, does Shawn Michaels see NXT's Premium Live Events? Hopefully they go back to the TakeOver name here down the line. But he was asking that conference call, does he see NXT going on the road for these Premium Live Events? He says, from an NXT standpoint, getting out for our Premium Live Events, hopefully that means getting out for live events as well outside of Florida. Those are decisions that come from people above me. We certainly want to do it, and we're excited to do it, but we're going to start with Premium Live Events and see how that goes first. Then he was also asked about NXT expanding. Of course, we got NXT Europe coming in 2023, replacing UK. WWE has recently trademarked NXT Global, and Shawn Michaels says that there are talks of NXT Japan and NXT Mexico internally. He says, quote, when it comes to NXT expanding outside of the U.S., NXT Europe is going to be coming in 2023, and I know there have been talks about NXT Japan and NXT Mexico. Those are probably farther down the road, but it's my understanding that those are some announcements that could be coming not too far down the road in 2023. One thing everyone is excited about is the company never sleeps. We're constantly trying to grow and expand. I have no doubt, I can't tell you how, but I know a guy that is pretty interested in NXT and its expansion. I'm sure those things are not far down the road at all. Matt, I mean, UK is pretty successful, brought a lot of stars to WWE and NXT itself. I think down the line, Japan and Mexico NXTs are not bad ideas, considering the cultures of both areas in pro wrestling. What do you think?
I mean, this was Triple H's plan years ago to do this, so he's basically just picking up where he left off. The problem is the NXT brand right now. It's credibility and how people feel about it is not the same as it was then. So they have a lot of work to do, and it starts with the main NXT. They really need to get things back on track with that brand, because while the black and gold brand could piggyback on a WWE pay-per-view and run those same venues, there's no way NXT 2.0 could even sell half of a standard venue the night before a WWE Premium Live event. They just can't. They don't. That brand is not where it needs to be to do that. They would need to find a smaller venue within the area to run the show. So right now, I think NXT really needs to focus on fixing its ground floor, and then you can worry about expanding yourself afterwards. But to me, it's one step at a time. Don't run if you ain't walking yet.
I mean, TV viewership has grown constantly over the year. It did drop going head to head against AEW, but so did AEW. So, it splits the audience. And so it's to be expected, but they've been posting some pretty reputable numbers for NXT. They were getting kind of low in the 500s, and now they're kind of pushing 700, 750 right now. And, the product is, I think, only going to improve from here now that Vince and
would certainly hope so. I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, now that Vince and Bruce have got their hands out of it, it's basically Sean's show, and Triple H is giving the okays. So, some good news that came out of Friday night Rampage for AEW. Willow Nightingale finally, after much pushing from the AEW crowd, has become all elite after her victory against Layla from Jade's faction there on Friday night. Willow Nightingale has been a professional wrestler here for almost 8 years now, and of course making her name in most notably before AEW, making her name in Ring of Honor, and of course Tony purchased Ring of Honor, so that definitely kind of improved the chances of it happening. But Matt, I think I'm very glad to see that this is finally official, because I mean, she is just extremely popular with the crowd. Maybe the second, we'll get to some of the second and third most pops behind Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker right now. And so I'm just really glad that now she's officially all elite.
Well, it came out over the weekend that this has been a done deal for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And AEW just kind of, waited to make the announcement. And look, it made Rampage feel more important to do something like that. So that's a good thing, because I definitely had my fair share of critiques on social media last week that for a live Rampage card, that card was slacking.
Was Orange Cassidy
the Orange Cassidy thing was a response to the complaints online about that card being weak. They added Cassidy in Thursday night.
Yeah.
So
I was gone Friday, so I just watched Rampage today. So I didn't know if Cassidy was announced ahead of time or if that was a last minute deal.
No, they did a segment on social media Thursday night to add him in and make it a triple threat match, which was absolutely necessary. If it's not enough to just run live. You have to make sure that the card is full of, talent that people want to see. And last week's card for Rampage left a lot to be desired. I hope Tony learns from that, and I hope we get a much better card for Rampage this week. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, that Fightful Select article that came out a couple of days ago, she had signed full-time with the company on October 21st. Fightful had learned that Willow had signed with the company in some capacity, but hadn't confirmed if it was tiered or full-time, but had confirmed once she had gained merch on the AEW shop. When Willow was finished up with MLW, they were under the impression it was to sign a full-time deal with another company. Fightful also was told that as of the summer, indie promotions didn't seem to have her clear her bookings with AEW directly. Reaction internally to Willow's signing was very positive. Willow's signing also led to Fightful to ask about the status of a lot of other talent within the company, and they had confirmed that there are several talents on full-time deals but haven't received the all-elite graphic, which is seemingly customary. Arya Daivari is one that they heard of this summer that was brought in full time, but yet to be announced with an all elite graphic manner.
And we're probably never going to see one.
Oh boy.
He's a bad look. At most, he's very valuable hand backstage. But like, I'm sorry if you announce that on Twitter, like you're not going to get the positive response that AEW is looking for when they announce those things. It's you save those for the people that you're going to get a great response for when you do it online.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to be a dick. He's a good hand, but he's not a needle mover in any way, shape, or form for AEW.
Some news that dropped this afternoon. It has been announced that while we don't have a pay-per-view in December yet, we do have one in February. So after the Royal Rumble on Saturday, February 18th, will be the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view taking place in Canada, Montreal, Canada, to be exact. I have always been vocal that I do not like the Elimination Chamber in the middle of WrestleMania season because I kind of think it screws with the Royal Rumble results. I've always been a fan of pushing this later in the year. I don't know. Are you in the same mindset, Matt, or you do not care?
No, not really, because once they figure out the who's going to challenge for one title, you need to figure out who's challenging for the other. If we're lucky, Roman's situation will be figured out by February. I mean, especially if The Rock's involved. Like, I still insist that Roman Reigns should not be holding two titles, or even one title, if he's facing The Rock at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the Elimination Chamber stays where it is. I like its spot. I'm happy that it's not in Saudi Arabia this year. Oh, next year, I guess we should say. And it being in Montreal, there's no better main event for this show than the Usos defending the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yep. That was my exact.
Look, I know you got the Elimination Chamber matches and stuff and whatnot, but you close with the Usos against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
That was my exact first thought when I saw that this show is coming to Montreal.
Yeah.
That this is going to play out.
A lot of people wanted to hold that tag match off till Mania, but if you're in Montreal in February, man, you got to pull the trigger there.
Yeah.
You have to.
It's going to be taking place at the Bell Center in Montreal, and tickets go on sale Friday, November 18th at 10 a.m. Eastern via Ticketmaster Canada. Wait a minute, though. One of the Usos won't be able to go to Canada. That's
Ooh, shit. You're right. Oh, damn.
They have strict.
That ruins that.
Yeah, they have strict. They have strict DUI rules.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, they have strict DUI rules that do not let you go into the country if you've had one.
Damn you, Jimmy Uso.
Yeah, he's had a couple.
Man,
too.
What a ruin. Okay. Then the bloodline needs to turn on Sammy in Montreal, and KO needs to save him.
Yeah.
That's what they have to do.
And then do it.
There has to be a big turning point of the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens bloodline story in Montreal. It has to happen.
What if Sami Zayn wins the Rumble this year?
Not a chance.
What if? Well, it's probably gonna be Cody.
It's like I said, it's gonna be the roller coaster, Cody Rhodes. So
sound off in the chat. Thanks for joining us live here tonight as we are about 25 minutes away from Monday Night Raw. Owens or Sammy win the chamber. That's another interesting there from Steven, Mr. Elimination Chambers. They could do Roman versus Sammy in Canada, and then the tag match at Mania. That's depending on what your timeline is. Mark Cho, good idea here. Put Solo in instead of Jimmy. Not a bad idea, but as long
they've never established that with the Usos, to
as
be
long
able to do that,
and
it would also be a tainted victory in my mind.
As long as they've held those titles, it's got to be Jimmy and Jay to get beat.
Agreed. Freebird rule works if it's established. If it was established, yes, from the get go. Now It's way too late to do that now.
Our final story of the weekend comes from the cinematic universe, the DC cinematic universe to be exact. Black Adam came out in theaters, and a lot of people kind of were ho-hum about it from the previews, weren't too excited about it, but then once people started watching it, rave reviews, word of mouth has probably spread to where The Rock has made a personal best. And they have The Rock has brought in an approximated, it says here, $60 million domestically and possibly worldwide, another $70 million, so $130 million worldwide in its opening weekend, which is a personal best for The Rock. Of course, The Rock is the biggest star in Hollywood, but pretty impressive.
Final numbers were actually 67 million in the States and 73 million overseas. So he pulled in 140 million opening weekend. And look, all you have to do is look at Rotten Tomatoes to see the disconnect with today's critics, because the critics freaking suck. And the audience ratings like 90%.
Yeah, I didn't see
the critics is like 40%.
Oh man.
Yeah, the
39.
critics is like, and the audience ratings like 90.
Yeah, it's 90 right
So
now.
there's a massive disconnect between, what the actual moviegoer thinks and what, these critics are thinking.
I have not seen it yet, but
I saw it Saturday night. I had a blast. I thought it was fantastic. Mid-credit scene, game changing for the DC EU going forward. I think everybody knows about it by now. It's kind of out everywhere. Marcho's message is based on MJF's tweet from the weekend, who tweeted out, "I saw Black Adam this weekend. Anybody who doesn't like it is a disgusting whore." So, yeah, movie was great. I really, really liked it. I came home after the movie and actually ordered a McFarlane Black Adam statue that came today. I tried to show it to JB before the stream came up, and it got all pixelated and stuff. So I'm not going to try to show that now.
How the hell is it like green screen in your figure?
I don't know, dude. Maybe because of the plastic, like the plastic screen on the box.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, well, that was our stories for the week. Now let's transition into television this week. Monday Night Raw. I want to say one thing I love about Monday Night Raw was the open. I thought Lesnar beat the crap out of Lashley beat the crap out of Lesnar was the perfect response to what happened the week before. Don't you think?
It had to be done, and I still stand here today and say that the new regime of WWE needs to make a statement, and Lashley needs to beat Lesnar at Crown Jewel.
110%.
Has to. There's no reason for Lesnar to win. Lesnar can never challenge for the title again as long as Roman holds the title. There's no reason for him to be winning matches right now. This is a one-and-done match in Saudi Arabia. Give the win to Lashley.
Yeah, that's 110% correct. That needs to happen. OC took on Gable and Otis with a win there. Then Judgment Day came out. Seth Rollins, we're gonna get Mustafa Ali in there with Riddle and Seth Rollins possibly for the in the U.S. title picture. Possibly Elias in there as well. I think those are some good. I think Ali's going to be the guy to take it off of Rollins, don't you think, Matt?
I would like to believe that, but there's nothing that WWE has shown me yet that makes me believe that they're fully behind Mustafa Ali to give him a championship.
I'm seeing some people speculate that Candice LeRae may turn heel. Do you feel that?
No, I don't see that happening. They've already established the fact that she's married to Johnny. It would kind of be really weird to do that.
Damage Control defeated LeRae and Bianca Belair ahead of their tag title match tonight. Oh no, they don't have a tag title match. That's my NXT. I kept thinking tag titles are on the line for some reason.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. JBL is the manager for Baron Corbin.
Yeah, this went over like a fart in church.
He still has me blocked. Corbin and Ziggler went 14 minutes. That was pretty interesting. Other than that, Monet Judgment Day has become my favorite act. They have rebuilt the Judgment Day quite from when Vince really screwed it up. Triple H has built them up pretty good. Miz tried to get out of his match with Dexter Lumis, claiming injury.
The dude's actually legit injured.
Is he?
He's got like a bursa sac injury right now. Like, honestly, they should leave the damn man, out of the ring until he's healed.
The internet wrestling community had a coronary when Dominic Mysterio defeated AJ Styles.
Well, here's what I've determined about a Dominic Mysterio match. He's really good at taking an ass whooping, but as soon as he's on offense, he fucking sucks. He's not getting better. And even on offense against somebody like AJ Styles, it still looked bad. Like, this kid needs to be back down in NXT with everybody else. He's not good.
Rollins and Riddle had yet another good match this time for the U.S. title. Rollins retaining. And that was the end of Raw. Dynamite this week. We kicked things off with the Trios Championships, Death Triangle Best Friends, with Death Triangle retaining in a damn good match there. A little bit of internal strife as Pac wants to play dirty, and the Lucha Bros don't want to do that. So do you see some trouble in paradise there, Matt?
I eventually see Pac joining LFI and breaking away from Death Triangle. I think once they drop those trios titles, that's going to lead to a split.
The interim women's championship, Toni Storm, Hikaru Shida. Storm winning in a 9-minute match there. After the match, Hayter and Rebel were attacking. Britt Baker came out in a Najee Harris jersey because we're in Cincinnati, so that'll piss off the crowd. It won't piss off Matt though.
Nope.
And then Saraya.
The team does that all on their own.
Saraya, did I say it right this time? Saraya,
yeah.
Yeah, Saraya with a nice tackle on Britt Baker. Riho making a return as well, kind of evening up the odds there as well. Looks like we're going to get on Wednesday. We'll preview Dynamite here at the end of the show, but we set up FTR and Swerve in our glory for this Wednesday.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
Probably the moment of the evening was MJF and Regal, man. That got the world talking. That I missed it live because it was on Tuesday Night Dynamite and I was working. But my God.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Man.
Absolutely awesome.
They went back to basically I got real life situations.
Yeah, absolutely 100% real story. And so, look, sometimes the best wrestling storylines are stemmed out of something that actually happened.
Yep.
Which is why I wish, CM Punk and the Elite would cut the shit, and, have an incredible storyline together next year.
But instead we're talking about buyouts and he'll probably go talk to Paul.
Yay.
But yeah, MJF, of course, was the, being kind of recruited by Regal and WWE back in the day. And it looked promising until Regal said, quit emailing me. So, but man, if you have time, take your time to look this up on the YouTube. I'm assuming the AEW account's got this whole promo on there. So make sure you go take a look at that promo because that was literally the best thing. I mean, it's hard to imagine, but I would not put it past AEW to turn him babyface some point next year. Just because he's kind of teased it and the crowd will pop for it. So given the right moment for him to go full babyface, I think it would work completely, don't you?
I mean, he doesn't want to go babyface.
No.
But I mean, Jericho said it at the All Out presser. Like, it's going to happen eventually. And when it finally does, he's going to be the biggest babyface the company has. It's just a matter of, I don't think it's a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. But I don't think it's happening this year. I really don't. I don't.
Yeah.
because to me it's along the same lines of him teasing it with Punk earlier this year. Like he's not going to be a baby face. He's going to remain a heel. He's going to cheat to beat Moxley at Full Gear.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we had to sit down with Renee Paquette, with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. And, Yuta basically questioning Bryan for not seeing the Garcia turn that we all saw coming from a mile away. Some interesting little conversations, some strife there with the Blackpool Combat Club. Chris Jericho, Dalton Castle for the ROH Championship. I thought this was a great match. As expected, Jericho's going to beat a bunch of former world champions until someone takes it off of him. Hopefully, Bebe. Hopefully, Adam Cole. Maybe with the help of the Kingdom. I would like that very much. And, unfortunately, a sad moment to end AEW Dynamite with Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page with the referee stoppage. And, all I've got to say, Matt, is thank God Hangman's okay.
Yeah, honestly, the Hangman injury prevented last week's Dynamite from being an all-time episode, because I thought that episode killed it on like every level until that injury took place. So just really freaking sucked that had to happen.
Yeah. So then Moxley calls out MJF, and they had a little promo there to end the show because they had to fill time. So they did that the best they could considering the circumstances. But thankfully, in the end, everything is okay with Hangman. Hopefully he can recover and return soon enough. SmackDown started off with two guys that are going to beat the shit out of each other, Sheamus and Solo Sikoa. Great opener. Another banger, would you say, Matt? Would you say that was a banger?
I don't think Sheamus is having anything but bangers in 2022, sir.
And I think we're going to get a Bloodline and Brutes feud probably heading into Survivor Series, I would assume. I'm assuming this they're going to write Sheamus off for about a month with this arm thing, and then they're going to go full steam at a Survivor Series, I'm guessing. Maybe this is a traditional match, Matt. Brutes and Bloodline, and we add a couple of guys. Obviously, Bloodline's got 3 with Sammy. I don't know if Roman's going to wrestle a traditional match, but
they've got 5 with Sammy if they want to do it.
Yeah, you get the Usos and
Roman,
Solo,
and Sammy. That's 5.
Would Roman?
I'm not saying he's going to do it. I'm just saying, like, if they wanted to.
That means they're not going to defend the title.
They easily could do. Are you really shocked about that?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but Mark Cho saying he thinks Regal turns on Mox. I don't know.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
No, I don't think so either. Bray Wyatt doing a backstage segment, kind of finishing what he wanted to say before he was interrupted by old Uncle. What's his name? Uncle Handy?
Uncle Howdy.
Oh, that was close. Uncle Handy. That sounds kind of dirty.
My God.
What did you think of the Bray Wyatt segment here on SmackDown?
I did not like the music playing over the promo. I thought it was very distracting, and I thought it was a battle for me to struggle to listen to what Bray was saying while the music was blaring over top of it. I hope they never do that again. The second segment later in the night was interesting. A lot of people think Uncle Howdy is Vincent from Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling fame.
Yep.
Could be.
I
mean, he was backstage at Raw a week or two ago, I Bleav, back in when they were in Brooklyn. So
he's a free
agent. Definitely not out of the realm of possibility. And, the Wyatt Six. Look, the Wyatt Six needs 6 people. If that's the direction that they're going in. So we'll see what happens. But apparently, according to PW Insider, Wyatt is internally listed as the #1 babyface on the SmackDown roster. So
yeah,
I don't know.
He ended the segment with, "I am just a servant now. I go where the circle takes me." And then he gave a little wink. So, no Mark Joe. Oh, yeah. Ass Healer and Dax Hardwood. Those are a couple old jokes from our podcast past. Now Uncle Handy's in that faction.
Oh, Lord.
More bloodline stuff with Jay being a hothead. And Liv Morgan took on Sonya Deville, and Liv got extreme again.
Slowly transitioning into Harley Quinn.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Strowman and Omos went face to face. And they replayed the car crash thing where Drew was a dick and attacked Karrion
Dude,
Kross.
they even said this week that he caused the car accident.
That's what I said last week.
Like, that's even worse.
That's what I said last week.
Not only did you cause the car accident, but you wouldn't beat his ass afterwards. Drew McIntyre is an asshole.
Yep. What I was saying was there was tag team title match. It was actually on Friday. Raquel and Shotzi took on Damage Control. Nobody expected a title change there.
Yeah.
Monet, I love this new version of Liv. I do too. I'm wondering if it leads to her joining Bray Wyatt. So,
can't rule it out.
God, I did not like the Ronda Rousey promo.
I've heard a lot worse.
Yeah,
she's had a lot worse. It wasn't terrible, but I mean, when she's purposely trying to be mean instead of just being herself, it doesn't come across natural. Just talk like you normally talk.
Yeah.
Because when she's trying to go out of her way to be mean, it doesn't come across right on the microphone.
A good segment with Legado del Fantasma, kind of introducing them to people that may not watch NXT, and also continuing with their. I mean, this was a great feud in NXT when they had a feud with Hit Row. I like your idea, Carmelo Hayes joining Hit Row. That is a phenomenal addition. I hope that is the case, honestly, because I can't think of a better guy right now.
Hit Row needs a boost right now, and I look. If they're going to continue the feud with Legado, it's a 3-man team.
Yeah.
Well, 4 if you count Zelina. So Hit Row's a man down. They need someone to join them. And look, it's fine for the time being if you get like Angela Dawkins or Montez Ford or something, but those guys aren't going to be there, forever. So they've got to figure something out.
Rey Mysterio and Ludwig Kaiser, I thought, had a great match. I thought those two were really well, did really well together. Then we closed it with Logan Paul. That was what it was. We all knew Jay was going to attack Logan because he's a hothead. So we all saw that coming a mile away. The Acclaimed, as a no surprise, got their trademark back. You can resume scissoring again thanks to the Acclaimed.
A very weird short storyline that really didn't need to happen to begin with.
Hook taps out Arya Daivari. Layla Gray took on Willow. That's where Willow led to her getting signed. And she was truly surprised, too. I mean, if you watch that segment with Tony, she didn't expect Tony to come to the ring. So I thought that was kind of a great moment. Nyla Rose continuing to be the goofy, funny woman that we see on Twitter. So I'm kind of glad that they're kind of going that way with her now. I thought that was kind of funny. I had a little chuckle. I also had a chuckle when Orange Cassidy tried to take Mark Henry's job. Not a smart move, Orange. Not a smart move. But I chuckled, let's just say. Which led to the triple threat match. I thought the triple threat match was okay. Wasn't great. Wasn't bad. So I thought it was okay. Predictably, Orange Cassidy ain't going to lose the title that quickly. So looking ahead to Dynamite on Wednesday, we got another banger of a show here. I mean, Riho, Jamie Hayter is going to be good. Danielson Guevara, that should be damn good. We got a tag match between Jericho and Garcia against Claudio and Wheeler. FTR against Swerve and Our Glory and number 1 contenders match. Then we got a world title match. John Moxley against Penta El Cerro Miedo. What are you looking forward to most on Wednesday here, Matt?
Probably FTR and Swerve and Our Glory. Like, look, the card's stacked. I think every match is going to be excellent, but I think that tag match, I think that stands out above the rest. I think a lot of people were hoping to see that match at All Out.
Right.
instead of the Acclaim match that we got. So
I'm
looking forward to that.
Just announced MJF is going to speak on Dynamite as well. And Monday Night Raw, we only knew two things. Bianca Belair and Bayley, kind of a last chance for Bayley. And then Carl Anderson against Finn Balor, which should be a damn good match. Sean Ross Sapp does have the plans, just dropped here about 15 minutes ago.
They don't sound promising.
Miz promo that leads to a match. Ali against Theory. Elias and Chad Gable. Gargano and Baron Corbin. And then Kiana James and Jan Wagner working main event matches against Dana Brooke and Cedric Alexander. They're saying that R-Truth is going to be the one to face Miz. There's been rumors, I guess they've been testing this too, of a possible R-Truth Shelton Benjamin tag team. I'm all for that. That's not a bad tag team at all. If you're in town for Raw, looks like you're probably not watching us. So dark match is going to be Riddle and Rollins. And then that's what we got for Raw. I am not going to watch it live, though. I'm going to watch my Bears probably get slaughtered by the Patriots on Monday Night Football. And I'll catch Raw later on tonight. But, that's the way it is. Thank you for joining Lost the Midcard. Thank you for joining in the chat. Mark Show dropping the scissors. He's not going to get tagged by Smart Mark Sterling because he's busy icing his balls right now. So, oh man. Hey, any final thoughts here before we head to the Monday night here at the top of the hour?
I'm hoping Raw is a lot better live than it is on paper because the two main things that I'm looking forward to are the stuff they already had announced. And I read that rundown, and I'm just like, woof.
Yeah, so I'm
hoping the show is better than a lot of times. You'll see the rundown, and you're like, this doesn't seem that great, and then the show still delivers a good show. I'm hoping they do that tonight because right now, looking at that rundown, I was just like, eh.
Yeah, I am not upset that I'm going to watch this on DVR. So somebody's ringing my doorbell right now. I don't know why. Hopefully, it's not important. But I after watching that rundown, I am not upset that I'm gonna be missing this show live. So, but you can catch Matt on the Twitter at Raw of Showtime, myself on the Twitter at JB Huskers. Make sure you give the Bleav in Pro Wrestling YouTube channel a follow. We're getting close to 500. Once we get to 500, we'll be giving away a $100 gift card to either the AEW shop or the WWE shop. So make sure you give us a follow there. We are getting very, very close to 500 right now. So for Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning into Lost in the Midcard, brought to you by Bet Online.